together in the next about 40 minutes, we'll be developing actionable tools to identify in the first place, and then to establish and, most importantly, successfully maintain partnerships with different stakeholders that you need to run to successfully run your project. So, as some of you are already aware, and some of you will learn eventually, your technology is only part of the solution. And as we inevitably see over and over again, it is most often the case that your technology is less than half of your actual project in the end. The other 75% in many cases is the network and the ecosystem you build. Because I've seen so many examples of people with great technology, with inventions that, as they claim, will change the world, will change the industry, will make us better, safer, faster, cheaper things, but they never see the light of the world, and they never become successful market products. And in the end, as we learn and as we study these examples, it doesn't come down to technology, but it comes down to their ability to build partnerships, and it comes down to their ability to get coworkers, to get companies on board, to get other researchers on board, and in the end to successfully market and commercialize their invention or the technology that they're working on. So partnerships that you build mean power. Partners give you or provide you access to additional expertise you need, because nobody knows everything, of course. So as you know, you need experts in different fields, and one of the fields that hopefully you are building yourself as an expert in some way, through these lectures as well and through these workshops. But one of the most important expertise that you will need currently, I guess, is how to become a business developer. So how to build not just project or technology, but an actual business that will commercialize this technology. So the second type of partnerships that you will be looking for is many of you will be looking for is the capital partners. So some type of funding. In many cases, this can be public funds, but eventually, as you go, this will dry out, and you will need to tap into private funding and into some sort of private capital, either be business angels, maybe some accelerator programs. But then eventually, when the stakes get bigger and when the tickets get bigger, you will need to turn to larger companies, to corporations, and to venture capital funds. Some of you inevitably will need additional facilities, so your partners can provide this. And this would not be just facilities within your institutions and within research institutions, but corporations have facilities as well that you will need, especially on levels where you are trying to see whether your projects work in real life, not just in laboratory environments. And of course, last but not least, it is the credibility that your partners give you. If I meet two different teams and one team says, well, we're developing a certain type of technology and we are on technology level 4 or whatever, or 6, and it's a team of 5 scientists and we are doing this in our lab. And then I meet a second team and they're presenting more or less a similar story, with the addition that they're saying that they're testing this with BMW already in their facilities, and that BMW is interested in funding or investing in their company as well. So inevitably, if you can mention, or if you have a relationship with a reputable company, you gain credibility, and my ears are focused more inevitably if you have these names to throw around. Of course, there needs to be substance behind it, not just a letter of intent, but a real substance. But a good partner gives you credibility that you can then leverage, that you can then use when you're trying to gather capital, to gather funding, to get other partners from the research institutions, or other partners from industry, inevitably. So, of course, when you're looking for partners, searching for partners, one of the the most important things at the beginning is find one that people know, besides the one that you need. So if this is the same one, even better. But if not, find one that people know and find one that you need. Okay, so what kind of partners, what kind of partnerships would companies in practice? This is a concrete example of one Slovenian company that was building building products, and they relied on two types of partnerships. They have corporate clients. They were selling their technology even before it was commercially viable. So they were selling it to corporate clients to test the technology, and they gave them back real-world testing data and validation that the technology works outside of the lab environment. Of course, they were not earning much when selling this in the first place, but it was not about earnings, it was about validation. So this is one of the important things that you need to discuss among your team when you're getting to first clients. Are you looking for money or validation? These are two separate things. And in most cases, startups in the beginning with first clients are looking for validation and not money. So whether your product works, not whether your product can be sold for enough money to sustain itself. This is, of course, something that you will need to test, but first you need to get validation whether it works in real life or not. And then the other are university labs in this example, where they got cutting-edge research facilities to test so to get a second opinion whether what they're developing actually works or not. So what this allowed them is to fast track this proof of concept that is validated not just by other labs, but is validated from corporate clients as well. And this allowed them then to get credibility to sell to big name clients. This was in the automotive industry. So with this, they could approach then Toyota and others because they have these validations. What I have here for you is a few links on these slides. One is a partnership map link. These are freely accessible, so you can just click when we share the slides, and you will get these tables. So here, for example, I already have a few examples for you here, but obviously just download and delete them. What I suggest for you is to, if you do not have this already, what I suggest for you is to have a partnership map that you revisit. So first you build it and then you revisit it as a team on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and see which partners are interesting to you, and you update this map. So for instance, what sort of potential partners you would map? You would map partners that can enrich your team, so that have some sort of a talent that you can maybe hire or even get part of your team. The second type of partners are investors, so people who have money or access to different corporate clients or to different customers. And then, of course, the most important ones are your strategic and corporate partners or clients that you can eventually sell your products or service to. So what you would map here is obviously the name of the partner, what category they're in, why they're relevant for you, what you can offer them. Obviously, a relationship is always two-sided, so you need to offer them something in return to what you need from them. So to investors, obviously, you would offer a share of a company. To team or talent, maybe you can offer a salary or share of your company or something else. And for corporate strategic clients, obviously, it would be your solution that you can offer or access to some sort of innovation that they might need for their processes. An important piece of information for you, obviously, is what they can offer you, what you need. And here are the first steps. So who does what and when? And obviously, that person then is responsible for this delivery. So for instance, would you be interested in a meeting, or would you be interested in some sort of an introduction through someone that you know, and so on. So this map is a worksheet that you revisit, and that is a basis for your task management as well. So for each partner, you would have a specific task you need to do. A specific team member needs to do something to see whether this partnership is viable or not. And then if it's not, just scrap it. And if it's viable, then of course you get some value out of it. So this is one of the concrete takeaways I have for you, and you can use this partnership map from today onwards to build your relationships, to identify potential partners, and most importantly, to define tasks for your team members to do. I'm quite sure that you will have, if not in a specific file, at least from the top of your head, a list of at least 10 potential partners, or 5 existing partners and five potential partners. And as I've seen from many examples, it's the pace and the number of partners that you contact and the pace with which you do it that in the end makes a big difference between teams that succeed and teams that do not. Because in many cases, it is a first come, first served basis. So especially in industry partners, they might have more than one request from teams similar as yours to cooperate. And of course, it's the team that contacts that potential partner first that has a bigger chance of success. So don't wait. Get to a list, get to tasks that each team member does, and try to find a way through networking, through programs like this, to get to those partners. LinkedIn is one obvious example. So my guess is that you add each lecturer that you have here on LinkedIn, that you add all colleagues that are, you have names here and you have a list of your colleagues from different institutions, that you add everyone on LinkedIn and see whether they can link you with a potential partner. That's what LinkedIn is for. And, I will remember you from this workshop in the next couple of days. So if I know someone, do it in the next couple of days, and I will remember who you are. But in 2 months or 3 months, if you contact me, I'll have to search through my calendar, what this workshop was about, and so try to work on these links as soon as possible and don't wait. Okay, so these partners that you will map fall into 3 different, in general, categories, as we heard. And let's discuss the first one in a bit more detail. So the first category is the team talent. Here would be the potential co-founders or potential key hires that you will need for your project. And as you've been discussing, as you will discuss, and we will just discuss in a minute, because it's a really important topic, you basically need 4 different roles within your team. And I would like you to take, not now, but today or tomorrow, as a team, a couple of minutes to discuss whether you have the right person for each of these 4 roles. Because inevitably, each organization needs a person for these 4 roles. So I was giving you a concrete recommendation that, in my opinion, you should take in the next, as soon as possible, basically. You should take a few minutes as a team to decide whether, or to check whether you have 4 roles that need to be filled by a right person, that you have these 4 roles currently within your team. And if you do not, what is your plan to get people who will take over these roles? So these 4 roles are on this slide with the small text. So the first, I'm 100% sure that everyone has this role. This is a person who knows how to make things. So a developer, a scientist, someone that builds products and services. The second role that each team needs to have is a role of a person who knows how to sell. So a person who wakes up in the morning, thinks not about your product, but thinks about meetings, phone calls, building partnerships, events that you should go to, fairs that you should visit, and so on. So there needs to be a person within your team who wakes in the morning, thinks of these things first, and not of your product first, okay? And then the third person that I'm relatively sure you have within your team already. I'm not sure about the second person, so the person who knows how to sell. This is the one that is most often missing from teams. But the third person that each team needs is a person who knows how to take care of the money. So a person who is comfortable with Excel tables, with money, with financing, with banks, with lawyers, with accountants, and so on. So a person who understands and knows how to take care of money and other administrative issues. So if you need to apply to a grant, knows how to write this application and so on. So again, I'm relatively positive that you have this person within your team. And then there is the fourth person, and this is the person who is comfortable and wants to be a leader, and a person who is who has a concrete plan on how to develop yourself as a leader, right? So these are the four roles within that you need within each successful organization. So a person who knows how to make, person who knows how to sell, a person who knows how to take care of the money and other administrative issues, and a person who leads, as we say, who shares love. And this is a person that makes a comfortable and an environment that other people like, so that everybody is comfortable going to work, basically. So basically, this is one of the things that you as a team, if you want to build a successful organization, you need these four roles, and you need one person for each of these four roles. And how you check whether you have this person is basically on two fronts. First front is do you have a person that has expertise and existing knowledge about this field, so making, selling, financing, and leadership. And if you have a person that really wants to do this role, so who wakes up in the morning, is thinking about this role and not other roles. So, and you might have a person that fills two roles. So a person, for instance, that is your business developer, a person who sells, goes to meetings, and this is also a person that is a leader, so who will be the CEO of your organization that is, will be there eventually. It is possible, but there is no way that there exists a person in this world who knows how to and wants to do all four roles equally well. So no way. There is not such a person, does not exist. So that is why each successful organization, if you study them, is built by at least two, possibly three, but rarely more than three people. So that's the logic. That's the logic behind it. So having said this, you can't do it alone. But if it's more than three of you, have regular meetings and hire a business coach, because inevitably you will run into problems from at least from my experience, having seen numerous cases of large teams, and more or less all of them had some conflicts and issues that they needed to take care of. If not for other reasons, maybe one of you will get, two children and will need money for a new house, and others will not be in such a position, and your life circumstances will change, and inevitably your needs will change. Okay, so these are the three teams of partners, and as we said, the first point number one is one of the important ones, because if you don't have number one under control, so the team, the talents, who are co-founders, who are hires, who are here for the salary, who are here for the share, who get paid based on the increase in company value, who get paid based on their salaries. That is a really important topic. And if you're not comfortable discussing these things, please do get a person that is to help you with these issues, because it's much better to discuss these things sooner than later. And I've seen so many examples where it was almost or too late to do these things. Okay, so because it's easy to divide a company that is worth zero, but it's really hard to divide a company that's worth a lot. Okay, so discuss and divide while you're worth zero, and don't wait for a point in time when you're worth a lot. That's the basic logic. So the second skill on this slide is coachability. What I mean by this is, let me show you an example. So this is one of my companies that I invest, not my companies, I invested in this company very early. So I'm one of the co-founders, but I'm not active in this company. So these are monthly revenues that you see on this graph. And we started back in late 2018, beginning of 2019, and the colors show revenues from different products. So as you can see in the beginning, the light blue color, we started with one product that was growing slowly, and then we added another one, which is the light purple color that grew in significance, but combined these two products, we were trying for, as you can see here, for over a year, but we didn't break more than 10,000 euros per month, which wasn't enough to sustain this company. So then we added another product. Okay, so we did the shift, and we said, well, this is by me, I mostly mean the two co-founders. But looking from an investor standpoint, there is a point I'm making here. So what they did is they added another product, which is the dark blue, which shot us up to about 60,000 euros in revenue per month, but weren't profitable. So costs increased not parallel with revenues, but costs are not on this graph, but they increased faster than revenues. So with 60,000 euros of revenue, we had 70,000 euros of cost. So this was not sustainable either. So what we did is we scrapped that product and we built another product, which you can see with green lines here, green on this graph. We built that product, but that product didn't move either. And then we saw an opportunity in our light blue product, which we changed a little bit, added something, did something with our sales process as well, and that shot us up to close to 160,000 euros of monthly revenue currently. As a side note, we didn't change much the number of employees. So we were doing 10,000 euros a few years back and 160,000 euros now. We closed this with almost the same number of employees, which is really important here. Okay, but the main point here is count how many pivots the team did here. Okay, so how many major changes we did here. I mentioned two types of changes. So one type of was in the product. So we introduced new products. We scraped products out of our product line. We did new things. We changed existing products, and we also changed our ways of selling. So how we sell, how we approach our customers. So this is one of the most important things that investors and partners look within a team when they invest or when they try to do business, any kind of business with. Okay, so are you flexible enough to follow signals, to follow data that you get from the market, and to base your decisions on this data? Or are you stubborn and you just, try to stick with whatever you have, and if the market shows that the wind is blowing in another direction, you're still trying to row in the opposite direction, and you hope that the wind will change, right? So this is a concrete example of how I, as an investor, I was really happy about this company because they didn't stick with their initial decision, but they changed a couple of times. Because we could stick with our decisions from the beginning with 10,000 euros, and we could blame the market, we could blame the customers. They don't cherish our decision, our products. They don't see the value and so on. But we saw that the problem was with us. The problem was with that we didn't build the right product for the market, and the decision then can be: Are we smart enough to build something better, or should we just do something else? Because sticking with what doesn't work is just not an option. So that is the coachability. The second one, accepting feedback and being flexible and showing this. okay, and see that you learn from failure and that you adjust. It's the same in your personal relationships as it is in your business. If you have a personal partner, you need to show that you're, flexible, that you adjust, that you change, do things, and it's the same with your businesses as well. Okay, because we have only a few minutes left. Let's jump to our last part of this presentation. And what I would suggest you do, and I'll show you a few examples, and this will be the last thing that we do. I'll show you an example of a partnership letter. So this is a letter that I've been sent numerous times, and a letter that we've been sending as a company. It's a template that you can, of course, adjust. But what I would suggest you do, build a list of partners, existing ones, or potential partners who showed at least a little bit of interest in what you do. Okay, this might be Simona, might be Peter, might be Sasha, might be me, doesn't matter. So someone who showed at least a little bit of interest in what you do, and a person that might give you some value in the future, even if not now, perhaps in the future. And then put these people on your mailing list and ask them if you can send them an update every 14 days. And what you do then, every 14 days, you spend a couple of minutes with your team members and with ChatGPT, and you draft a letter that you send to all these people. Okay, so this would be existing investors and everyone else, that is at least a little bit interested in what you do. What you would do in that letter is you would write a few things, and I'll just show you two examples now. I think this would be the best way to. So these are the two letters that I received as an investor recently. Okay, so this is a letter from a company that is in the medical field. I have two letters. I'll just show you briefly these two letters. I can share them with you. I don't think there are many, things that you would need an NDA for. But basically, so these are the two letters. First one is a company in the medical field. So what they do, they send me a letter each month, and they report about few things. I'm not even an investor in this one. So I'm, just a person who was interested in investing. I didn't invest eventually. They are still sending me a letter every now and then, and I don't mind. Far from that. Okay, so what they are sending to me. So they're sending to me on a monthly basis what they do in terms of product development, what they do in terms of sales, client onboarding. So for instance, they are reporting they have their first paying client. You see, there are no concrete things here, but at least as a person, you see that they're moving. Okay, so they have some trial cases with potential clients. They're reporting on that here. And then they are in a process of getting additional investment, and so they're reporting on that. And they are saying that they will next funding round will be September, which will be a 10 million evaluation, and so on. So even if I wasn't interested in investing, I might be now. So it doesn't hurt sending me an email every now and then. And this is another one. This is a company I did eventually invest, and they do AI. Many do now, and they do AI together with some sort of a hardware, so with a camera and microphone, and they solve some issues with that. And for instance, they do it in a bit different way, but what they do here is they report on key highlights. So for instance, where they were, what they were doing, they were in some fairs. They did some field testing with Fraport, which is the airport here in Slovenia. They received first investment from one of the investors that they signed up with. What's happening with their team? So how many new employees? What are the roles that they're filling in with those employees? They gave us here a bit more information about their financials, so you can do that if you want. It doesn't hurt. What I've seen is, the more information that you share, the better it looks. So the more information that you hide, or if you write things very vaguely, people start asking themselves, why are you doing this? So is there some substance behind it, or is it just ChatGPT, writing things without any actual substance behind them? So from my experience, sharing more information than you think usually pays off. I've never seen an example where someone would steal something or do something, but I'm quite sure you're doing so specific things based on the expertise that you have, that even if you just did everything what you're doing open source, the chances of somebody doing the same thing as you're doing are so slim that even if you shared everything, it wouldn't hurt much. So this is another example, and what they're doing here is they're also reporting on the future, so what they will do in the next couple of weeks and months. So I'm on at least 5-6 mailing lists and getting letters like this. A few of these as an investor, but most of them not as an investor, but as an interested party. So what I would strongly suggest you do is the same. Try to set up a mailing list of interested parties and just write a short email on a regular basis, monthly basis, updating them about your project, about your product, about your upcoming things, where they can see you, where they can find you, do you have a new website, you have a new person onboarding your team, and so on. Why this is interesting is, what are the best, what are the shows on television that have the most viewership? It's reality shows. So what you're doing here is trying to, give some reality to people, and your reality is your product, your clients, your co-workers. Maybe add a picture of your team next to it, because we like seeing people and reality more than some general descriptions and websites that have not just words, but also pictures that are made by ChatGPT. So as Sasha said before, it's about the story, and try to build your channels that will share your story, and this will make a difference and will help you in building and maintaining your partnerships, because you never know when you will get someone that will help you. And from my experience, what I've seen is that people are afraid to ask for help, but on the other hand, people really like to help. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because if you ask it, you will receive it. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much, Blaž.